Hey everybody, this is Dave from behind the camera out in front of you, sitting here with John Falstrom for another one of our little discussion sessions. We just got done filming some really heavy content for your more advanced players. We talked about using the modal system with blues rock. We talked about the importance of memorizing your notes. We talked about the circle of fifths. Lots of really important stuff. And yes, you know, as a musician, you're aspiring to get to those levels. But one of the things that I wanted to have a discussion with John today about, and even relates to like my own playing. In fact, I was playing guitar, put the guitar down for a couple years just being discouraged by a lot of things. I'm in the mood now to get back to playing. I'm actually starting to study the bass guitar. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about was just being authentic, being comfortable with who you are, and also just some different things about taking our bass playing or music playing in general to the next level. So the first thing, so the first thing that I wanted to talk with John about is just being able to be comfortable with where you're at in playing bass. So, you know, if you're a new player and you're playing with some other people, maybe you're going out to like a jam night or something like that, you certainly don't want to try to pretend to be something that you're not. So talk about that. You know, I've gone out to jam nights. I've played at some of yours. It's really encouraging to play with people that are welcoming, playing for beginners. But what are just talk about that for just a second about being okay, like being comfortable in the shoes that you're in.
Absolutely. There's a lot of songs out there where there's bass lines that are, unless you've been playing bass for a long time, you really can't hear, but they're in the song.
Right.
And when someone points someone out to somebody and they can't play it, I don't worry about it. Don't even play that little bass line.
Right.
Just play something that works, that sounds good to you and who you're playing with. Oh, that works. That works.
Right.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. But play something. Just don't, like if you can't play a fast riff or something, don't worry about it. Either you will or you make up your own, something that's good, that will sound good.
Right.
So there's nothing wrong with creating bass lines to a song that's famous and you can't play a riff or you can't get it. Just make something up.
Hey, we can, and it's okay to modify a song.
Absolutely.
And we were talking about this right before the film shoot. For example, let's talk about, we are both rockers, love rock music. To me, I'm 45 years old and I still like it, the louder the better.
Right.
But we're talking about Steve Harris, bass player for Iron Maiden. He writes a lot of the songs.
Yes.
He's got some unique talents. For example, he does the gallop.
Yes.
You said he does it with 2 fingers.
Yeah, he does it with 2 fingers.
Yeah. So show if you can do it a little bit,
like I said, I've seen videos of Steve Harris play and he's phenomenal, obviously, and he does it with 2 fingers. But to me, that was like kind of like out of my reach. I don't have Steve's his right hand technique. So what I did was, I want to do the gallop. So what I did was, I coordinated my 3rd finger, and I used 3 fingers to do the gallop because I need that.
Right.
So I developed, instead of going like 2-finger gallop, I use 3 fingers. I go 3, 2, 1. So now. See, I can do it now because I had to, and I modified like I said, don't try and be like someone else all the time. Create your own, whatever can work for you. If it works for you, do it.
Right. Now that same riff, if there's a player who doesn't have that speed, show us how it's okay to modify.
Absolutely.
And it's up to you as the musician to come up with what you want to do. But just give an example of a way that you would modify or you would teach a newer student how to play the song where they could still be in there, maybe not with the speed.
I do it all the time. And again, I would just go. You can do that with 1 finger. Again, your beat's on, the notes are right, and that is perfectly fine for where you're at. Like I said, be happy with where you're at. You're playing good. You'll get as good as as you want to be. But again, modifying bass parts is fine.
Right. And that was just an example of using something that was basically one note. You just changed the pattern of how you're hitting it.
Exactly.
And before that, we talked about something like another. Typically, it seems to be the bass players that are writing these songs that have a complex bass line.
Right.
We're talking about Rush.
Rush.
One of the early songs. There's something with really, really fast
Left-handed.
Left-handed.
Yeah.
Well, lefty. But what's the song you talked about? It's called "What Are You Doing?"
Yeah, What Are You Doing? Geddy Lee's, I don't know if he wrote it, but I remember me learning that song. It's from their first album. And the bass line is... Now that's pretty hard, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of speed and everything.
A lot of speed.
Like that.
So now, if you're in a band and you guys are doing it, and you as the bass player can't do that riff yet, just keep working on it. But don't say, well, we can't do that song. Instead of doing that riff, just play a note that fits. So instead of playing that, you're gonna go do 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 do. Okay.
And you're still giving that flavor by doing that slide off there.
Exactly. Now you've created an original part.
Right.
You know what I mean? That sounds good to me. I like that sound. You know?
Right.
Then, if you can do that, you can mix them up then. You know what I mean? So don't be afraid to be yourself. That's what I'm saying, to modify.
Right, that's the big thing. And I think that there's a lot of people out there that need to hear some encouragement that it's okay to be where you're at and you're playing and always taking it to the next level.
And don't wait to be, well, I got to be this good to play in a band or play. No, just get out there and learn. You know, you're going to make mistakes, and that's fine. But again, you're going to create your own style at the same time. You want your own style. You definitely want your own style. You want to take from the best, borrow, and then mold it. And the stuff you don't know, create something that sounds good. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and another thing too, especially in being comfortable in developing your own sound, and it's good to play with, people that accept you for where you're at too.
Big time. Yeah.
So
those are the kind of guys you really want to play with, who will let you grow with them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And you will grow because you're inspired to play with these guys.
Yeah. If you ever have the opportunity, like I've actually had an opportunity to get up on stage and play with my guitar instructor. I've played with John on stage, and the cool thing is even if you don't have the skills, you're going to want to bring your A game.
Right.
But these guys, and I'm just going to speak for the guys that I know, they're welcoming enough that I can come up there and play with where I'm at, and they're not, well, I've been playing for 40 years, you've been playing for 3, you don't belong up here with us.
No.
It's encouraging to play with people that are like that too. So that's it's a good thing. Try to play with people like that.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Certainly, when we're talking about being comfortable with where you're at, if you are in a band or playing with people who they can't accept you with where you're at, you're probably playing with the wrong people.
Yeah. Again.
And certainly one thing that I know for sure is don't let your friendships and stuff don't let them go away, be over playing in a silly band.
Right.
If you can't play with those guys and you still want to be friends with them, then you have to be at the liberty to say, you know what, maybe I'm not cut out for playing with you guys.
Right. Again, music is people. When you play music, people do change when from when they're not playing. Trust me on that.
Right.
So if you're not seeing eye to eye on the bandstand and you guys are great friends off the bandstand, well, get off the bandstand. Stay great friends.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Seriously.
Yeah. That's kind of what I had happen to me a little bit too.
Yeah.
Gets a little discouraging when you're playing with people.
Well, it happens
that
everyone.
You don't have the same musical tastes.
Right. Exactly. Right. And that's normal. Believe it or not, that's normal.
Right.
Because like I said, it's happened to me too all the time. And again, on the bandstand, you want to get people. Hopefully, you can are on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll work. Again, if you're friends with people who play and you're on different pages on a bandstand, don't play together. No problem. No big deal. It's no biggie.
Right.
You still remain friends off the bandstand.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because the bandstand does change people a little way, and sometimes you go the opposite way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing though is as where you are with your instrument is you have to have the be comfortable and confident enough to know where you're at.
Right.
To play with the right people.
Yes.
To make sure that you're a good fit.
Yes.
Because all of this comes back to improving to be a better musician in the long run.
Right.
Because the more that that you are able to play in an organized setting, like when you're playing in a band, and you're working towards getting to the level. We talked about some of these complex songs. Yeah, you're going to get there.
Yes.
If you put the work in, but don't don't bring everybody else down because you're just going to go out and say, well, I can't get that one thing, I can't play it. You can modify it. Just make it simple, and as your skills develop, it's going to come up a little bit better. So you're going to keep everybody happy, because if you got a bunch of guys that say, you know something, man, I really want to play this particular song. Right. And there's a lot going on, and everybody else has got it, but you might be like one who doesn't have quite as much experience. If you can hang in there and make it work and make it sound good, go with it. Go with it, and make sure that your band knows, hey, you know something, I can't play this note for note.
Right.
But what I'm going to play, I'm going to make it sound good, and it's going to work. Right. And I'm going to continue to work on the song and get it to where, as a group, everybody's like really, really like, yeah, I like it like this.
Yeah.
You know, we can work with this, but we want to go to this. We want to go to the next level.
Right.
You know, and so a lot of that all comes with practicing stuff that we talked about today. You know, memorizing the notes. Right. I mean, playing guitar, I learned to play chords, but to be honest with you, I couldn't tell you what notes they were. I knew what the chord was.
Right.
And sometimes I could tell which ones were the sharps and the flats for the keys. You know. But I also didn't start learning to play until I was older.
Right.
And that's a big thing, too, for me.
But again, so you got, if you want to get better, you got work to do.
Right.
You know, if you want to get better.
Right. And the other thing, too, is speaking about that, getting better, being comfortable in your shoes and stuff like that, knowing your limitations. A lot of the guys that probably are watching the videos, or people that you know are in your subscriber circle, music is a side project. And, you realize that work and family are priorities and stuff like that. But if you really want to have music come to the forefront, then you have to make sure that you set aside time for that. Don't forsake the other ones.
Right.
I mean, if you're busy with work and stuff like that, make sure that you're playing that. Find that balance.
Oh, God,
and be comfortable. Be comfortable with that.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole thing. Be comfortable with it, and play with people you're comfortable with, too.
Right.
Like you said, you grow together.
Right.
It's best, to find people that you can grow together as a team. A band is a team. It really is. And, being a bass player, I'm not a solo bassist where I say I started playing bass because I wanted to be in a band. I love playing in a band. So I look for people who work together. We work, and that's really a personality. I love that camaraderie.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, even early on, your early on days when you played with Midnight.
Right.
You guys were high school classmates.
Yeah.
And you guys were all about the same skill level, and you grew together.
We grew together. Yeah, you're growing.
And that's an important thing, because you guys were, all on the same page.
Yes.
Fortunately, you guys were all on the same page.
Yes.
And
And that's why we were successful, not only as a band but as friends too.
Right.
We'll be brothers for the rest of our lives because of growing together.
Right.
Always, showing someone this, showing someone that, not being afraid to ask questions about something in the song. That's it. Don't be afraid to ask. Ask. You'll get it.
Right.
Right. So don't be afraid to ask. That's important.
Yeah. And again, that goes back to just being comfortable with where you're at as a player.
Right.
I
know me. Like I said, I was never afraid to ask questions about why are you doing that. Can you show me? I got no problems with that. And I always, to this day, I'm still learning myself.
Right.
I still am.
Right.
Well,
as a musician, you never stop learning.
No.
As human beings, we never stop learning.
Exactly.
We're always learning. Our brain is always gathering up information.
Right. Exactly.
And so, but I wanted to have just a discussion with you and encouragement for people that are out there. Again, the purpose of what we're doing now is to take people that have a handle on the instruments, make them better.
Yes.
We want to make them the best players.
Oh yeah.
But we also have to realize that life throws curveballs at you,
big time. And
we don't live in this little bubble where we have access to playing an instrument 24 hours a day and things come naturally. There's work that's involved.
Right.
There's sweat. There's tears. All that stuff comes in there. And just as for our own personal development, it's okay to say, hey, you know what? I'm not that good yet.
Right. Oh yeah.
But I'm going to get there.
Absolutely.
And so I just think that a lot of guys, just have that little bit of information, a little bit of encouragement, just to say, hey, something, we're moving forward. And
that's the main thing.
so sometimes, you know, you want to hear it from some other people, and just, you know,
kind of
talking some of our own stuff. Right? It's okay, yeah, I don't know. It's like there's just different ways to, when we're playing instruments, again, we want to keep it musical, we want to keep it fun, and we want to stick in there, and we want to try to overcome as many obstacles so that we can stay focused on stuff that we're doing.
Yeah, you're right. Like I said, you will go through ruts, peaks and valleys of playing too in life.
Sure.
You know, I mean, you got to go with life throws you too, and you might get away from the bass or guitar, but when you get a chance, go back to it. You know what I mean? Don't be afraid to go back.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Like, you know, I still, like with my guitar, I'll pick it up and I'll play it at home. I'm not playing with anybody right now. And that's
right now.
Right now.
Right.
You know, and that's, you know, partially that's my choice. But, you know, again, I'm comfortable enough to say that, you know what, right now, I'm not wanting to play with anybody.
Right. That's fine too.
Mm-hmm. You know, because I think sometimes, and I bet that there's a lot of other people that are out there that will fall into this, I describe it this way. You like the idea of being in a band, but you don't like being in a band. You know what I'm saying? Like, did you ever hear that line?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, man, I really want to be in a band, and I want to play with these guys. And then they're like, yeah, well, come play with us. And then you're in the band, you're like, man, this sucks, man. I don't want to put in practice.
Right.
You get somebody out there, you work on a song for like, you know, 4 months. You got it sounding really good, and you got somebody else goes, I don't want to do that anymore. And that's enough. That's enough.
Like,
you know.
What? Wait a minute. What?
You're like, why did I just put in all this work? And then you're like, that's it. I don't want to play anymore.
Right. Exactly. It's not easy, Dave. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not easy.
Right.
Trust me.
But, you know, again, it's, you know, for some of us, it's a hobby to play. You want to make your hobby enjoyable. For other people that are like for you, you're a musician. This is your occupation. This is your job.
Right.
And so, with your circumstances, a little bit different. And then let's talk about that. I've been doing a lot of the talking here, but John, you know, let's talk about this. Like, for somebody who's a seasoned person, who's a musician, maybe they're working 3/4 to full time as a musician, going around getting gigs. Talk to them. Just give some encouragement about being comfortable with where they're at, and some tips that you've learned like along the way.
Yeah. Just kind of like set short, you know, little goals. Short, you know, like don't make your goals way up here. Just let's get this goal. I wanna do this. Maybe I want to teach bass lessons. Okay, maybe start teaching at home or give house lessons. That helped me. I started teaching like in 83, 84, after Midnight broke up, after my great rock band. I knew, you know, so it's like, wait a minute. So I started teaching, and I enjoyed it. And again, I've had so many students, and I know exactly what you're talking about, you know, working your way up and just modifying parts, because I've modified many parts for my students who just aren't at that skill level yet, and it sounds great though, and they and again, they don't even know the difference, and neither does the band members.
Right.
So again, that's great. But me, I've learned so much from teaching over the last 30 some years, and that's how I know what you're saying is just right on the money, because I hear it every day, you know.
Right.
And so yeah, just I think the main thing is if you like your instrument deep down, there's nothing wrong with just, you know, with just playing on your own, you know.
Mm-hmm. Right.
There's nothing. I've done that too. I've been there's many times where I wasn't playing in bands, but I enjoy playing songs or just practicing, you know.
I'm sure you're probably like a lot of your viewers. You'll pull up a YouTube video of a song
Sure.
and you're playing along.
Right. Exactly.
Because you're trying to improve your skills, or
and plus I want to learn a song, and I like it, and now I'll just play it. But again, I do a lot of, you know, my own rehearsing myself, you know, because I enjoy it, you know.
Right.
And it's just it's everything, you know. It's a challenge met, challenge not met, you know. But it's life. The instrument just becomes part of a lifetime. It's a journey.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And just being able to know that you're where you're at is where you're at.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you'll get better if you just keep. The main thing is just keep going. You know, if you want to put it down for a little while, put it down for a while. But hopefully, you know, it'll come back and it'll be all good.
Right.
You know, I used to shove my bass under. You know, I would shove my bass under my bed after I, you know, get frustrated, and it'd be in there for a week.
Right.
You know, when I'm thinking that's it. Now I've had it.
Right.
And then it's like, come here. You know, let me try again.
But it's okay. It's okay.
It's okay
to do those things.
Yeah.
So, all right. So
anyways,
So for you guys that are out there, you know, again, I come up with these ideas of these topics to talk about, and John's nice enough to go, Dave, we got to do another one of those little sessions. And so I try to think about like the real life perspective, different things that are going on, so that we can keep this whole thing like real and organic. It's all intentional about why this particular channel, why we do the things that we do, the locations that we shoot them at, stuff like that. It's like we're comfortable enough knowing that we don't have to be have some really super high tech video editing with multiple cameras so you could see John's face and stuff like this down here.
Again, this is not rehearsed. None of these videos are rehearsed. They're deep in my memory, and Dave just says, ready? And I said, hold on, let me focus, and hit it. And again, there's no overdubs, there's no punch-ins, and
that's fine. And that's fine that people do that, and there's a use for stuff like that. But it's very intentional about what we do.
Right.
We're just regular. We're Southsiders in Chicago. Anybody knows about that. But we try just to keep this very organic, very real.
Yes, very real.
Very practical and stuff like that. And so that's why we have these little discussions and stuff like that. And when John said about a lot of stuff being unrehearsed, we do have a list of topics that we set aside. Some of the topics have been in the works for 2 years, 3 years. It only took us, 2.5 years to talk about the 12-bar blues, but you wanted to know about how to talk about it.
Right. I wanted me to get just more comfortable with myself again, so I wasn't probably ready to do it.
Right.
Because it's pretty heavy stuff, and again, this is not scripted out. I don't have a teleprompter. I have no cue cards. This is all based on me teaching and me knowing, and it just flows. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
And most of the time, believe this or not, we get it in. This is like a one-take shot.
It's always,
Last session that we had, which was about 5 weeks ago, we had to stop it only because we were interrupted by a knock at the door, like the doorbell or something like that. It was like completely threw everybody off for the mix. It's like so we redid that. But anyways, this is
I like what you said. It's real organic, real life. Again, this is about we're just average guys in Southside Chicago and suburbs, and it's real life. I mean, we're not pretending. This is it. What you see is what you get. You know what I mean? That's music.
Yeah, you're not coming across being like, I'm the greatest thing that's happened to bass since Jaco Pastorius. He's one of your idols.
Exactly, sure is.
But
absolutely. It's just real. It's just real, and that's what I love about it. It's just being real, and I chose, like I said, this bass because this is really a very important bass to me, the Telecaster bass.
Right.
And with blues, just a little thing, Fenders are well known to play in blues, Fender basses, and this bass is my favorite, one of my favorite basses, and that's why I choose certain basses to put me in that zone when I'm trying to talk about.
Right.
And it kind of comes automatically, and this bass I chose because we were talking about the blues and certain key things. Like I had a 77 Telecaster, Dave, when I memorized my notes on my bass. So when I see this, when I was talking about memorizing the notes, it put me right back where I was. Mm-hmm. So I see it. Yeah, it's very organic. I like that word, Dave. It is.
So.
You know what I mean?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyway, moving forward, even in the future, we're going to have more content that's going to be coming. Not sure exactly what we're going to be talking about next.
No.
We'll come up with something.
Exactly.
But we're going to be continuing to do these little sit-down sessions. We'll have tips, trying to stay. Even though we're like these guys that we like the rock music and we have certain musical tastes, we're aware of what's out there.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And still trying to be, we have to be relevant in talking about today's musicians.
Oh, yeah, and we are, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Just maybe some of our music tastes might be a little, to some people, dinosaurish.
To some people.
But
again, the theory and the approach, the bass is still the same with today's music.
Exactly.
It's the same.
It's the same stuff.
Yeah, it's the same stuff. It's just a different song I will choose or something like that.
Right.
But again,
so that's why we continue to have to be relevant and stuff like that.
And theory will always be relevant. That's the beauty of it. Exactly.
For sure.
And that's the beauty of it. And that's why theory always fascinated me, because I always wanted, I still want to know certain things. I don't know everything. I learned it. Like I said, I learned the modes on my own. I learned how the modes work in blues on my own. Like I said, I found that needle, just by asking and just being curious and
that was you being comfortable enough to ask and look for it.
Exactly.
Despite the fact that you have a college education, a college degree in music.
Right. I didn't know the modes.
You still sought out information.
Absolutely.
And you didn't go, well, I have a degree in music.
Right. And just hide behind that. No, not at all. Not at all.
So.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're going to continue to keep putting the work into all the stuff that brings stuff to you.
Yep.
We want to encourage you guys to be comfortable where you're at. But you know something? Keep putting the work in, because if you stay stuck, that's not okay.
That's not okay.
That's not okay.
No.
So, anyways, a little candid discussion that we had here.
Love
Thanks for listening to us and everything like that. And again, for you guys out there, just an encouragement: be comfortable with where you're at. Make sure that you're playing with the right people. It's okay to take a break from things. Those are just some highlights there.
Yeah.
Again, we're going to continue with this nice organic approach. We hope that you like it. If you have any suggestions, comments, or anything like that, please put them in this comment section below the video. We want to hear from you guys. We want to hear what are some of the things that you're doing. Where do you not feel comfortable with some of the things that are challenging you?
That'd
Maybe
be great.
John can get back and certainly talk with you guys.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So
like I said, if you've got any questions, just put it in the comment section. Because like I said, I can't think of every question, but I come up with a lot. But if you have something, just ask me.
Yeah, and John is very good about interacting with his audience. Again, that's a lot of why these videos have evolved to what they are, because John's in tune with the people that are in his circle, his audience.
Absolutely.
And stuff like that.
I love it.
Anyways, so again, thanks for joining us, and we will see you again soon with some more probably pretty heavy content. Yeah. But then we'll come back with some lighthearted discussions with me, and we'll bring it all back together. So, all right, and we'll see you again soon. All right,
see ya. Bye-bye.